Good morning, everybody. I feel like this video is long overdue. I've been wanting to do a truck camping setup tour for a while, but I keep wanting to make changes to the setup, so I've been putting it off. But I figured, you know what, let's just make the video, and then when I make changes, I can just make another video next year. So, this is the 2025 Jeep Gladiator camping setup tour. We'll start with a little run over of the exterior of the truck, and then I will show you the tent and the awning and all the stuff we've got inside the back there. But first, this is a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Sport S Max Tow. I purchased it used in July 2023 with 39,000 miles on it. I've now got 60,000 miles on it. And let's start over here and take a look at the front. So a lot of the mods and the extra stuff that was done to the Jeep was done before I purchased it from the previous owner. So taking a look over here to start, we've got an aftermarket bumper, which I like this bumper. And then we've got the winch in there. This is the worn winch. Fortunately, I haven't needed to use it yet. Yeah, I've had no reason to change this bumper or winch setup, so I've just kind of kept it as is. And then looking up over here at the just above the windshield, we've got the KC lights. This was also installed by the previous owner before I bought the truck. And you know, if I bought the Jeep new or bare bones, I probably wouldn't have purchased these lights, but I definitely like them. No reason to take them down or anything like that. They actually come in handy sometimes too if we are showing up to a campsite late at night and it's dark, and they definitely give a much wider field of view compared to the headlights of the Jeep. So they do get used. I like having them. All right, I guess next we will take a look at the wheels and tires. So these are 35-inch tires, and we've got black Rhino wheels. I love the looks of these wheels, and I love these tires. Again, these were already on the Jeep when I bought it. Yeah, you can see that green tint to those wheels. They look really good. And then, yeah, the tires have been great. When I do need some new shoes, I don't know if I'll end up getting the same tires or take a look at something new, but let's see. I think that's it for the front. So the only other thing I can think of for now for the exterior, stuff that was already on the Jeep when I bought it, was this truck cap. So that was actually kind of a deciding factor. Maybe not a deciding factor, but it was a pretty big deal when I was looking into buying the Jeep, that it already had this cap on there. Because I had been researching bed racks. And bed racks cost between $2,000 to $3,000. So the fact that this Jeep already had this cap on here, and I'm actually super happy with the cap. I don't think that I would prefer having the bed rack. I like having everything enclosed. It's allowed us to use an electric cooler that we'll get to in a little bit. And it's been awesome. And then of course you can see the paint match. So this is the RLD truck cap. Bed cap, whatever you want to call it. And it's got 3 doors, so you can access everything in the bed from the driver's side, the passenger side, and the rear. And then it's got locks 2 locks on each side, so 6 total. And yeah, I've loved that. And then I got even luckier because one last thing I can think of that the previous owner had on top of the cap was these roof rack load bars. And these load bars are $500. So that saved me about $500 and gave me a way to attach the rooftop tent on top of the cap. So yeah, the truck when I bought it, it came with all those things from the previous owner having them installed, and that was pretty awesome. So the rest of what I discuss is kind of what my camping setup is with how we packed it. Before we get inside the bed cap though, I'm gonna briefly show you my tent and the awning that's on the passenger side and the solar panel that I've got on top of the tent. So if you've been following my channel, you already know that I use the Free Spirit Recreation Evolution V2 tent, also known as the FSR Evo V2, and I've been super happy with it. I made an initial impression video of it the week I bought it, and then a year later I made another video going over my thoughts on it after a year. So spoiler alert, I've been very happy with it. If you want more details on the tent, because I'm not going to go in detail in this video, I will link those 2 videos in the description. But I've been super happy with this tent. It sets up and takes down very quickly, and I can fit a ton of bedding in there. I've got right now a deflated inflatable mattress, 2 sleeping bags, 2 blankets, 4 pillows, and a body pillow. And then I've also got a pump for the mattress and a headlamp in there. So yeah, it's amazing how much stuff it can fit inside. At the end of the video, I will show a time lapse just setting it up and setting up the awning as well, so you can see those and the whole camping tour with everything set up. But let me come around here too, because I want to show you the solar, the way I set up the solar panels. So if we come over here, you can see I mounted the solar panel to the roof rack of the tent. So I've got the Free Spirit Recreation roof rack that goes on this tent, and then I mounted the solar panel. It's a 100-watt solar panel, and then I've got the cord coming out here, and then I just have it looped in one of the latches. Whoops. Got it looped in one of the latches of the tent just so it stays in place. And then underneath the tent, coming out of the window of the canopy, I've got 2 separate solar cords. So one of those goes to what I would charge my power station, which we'll see in a minute, inside the cap. The other would go to my powered cooler, which we'll see in a minute inside the bed cap. So basically what I would do is come up here, plug the MC4 connectors for whichever one I want to charge into the solar panel, and then I would plug the XT60, I believe it is. That's what would go into the unit that I want to charge. So I've got to come up here and decide which one I'm going to plug in. I don't have them linked together, so hopefully that makes sense. So that is the solar panel that I've got on top of the rooftop tent. And then before we get inside the bed cap, I'm going to show you the awning. So this is the Free Spirit Recreation 270 awning V2, so the second version of this awning. And also, if you've been following my channel, you might have seen that I made an initial impression video of this awning, and you might be waiting on the follow-up. So update on that. The follow-up video is coming in August. Sometime in August will be the follow-up video on that. But spoiler alert as well, I've been very happy with the awning. I will have more to say about it in that video, but it does set up quickly, and like I said, before I wrap up the video at the end, I will show a time lapse of setting that up as well. All right, I think that leads us to taking a look at the inside of the bed cap, what we bring with us and how we store everything in there. All right, I'm on the driver's side, so I'm gonna pop open the bed cap and we'll take a look at what's in there. All right, so starting over here with the back. Well, I guess technically this is the front of the truck bed, but when I'm over there, I consider that the front. So I'm gonna call this the back of the truck bed, even though that might be backwards. But right over here, this is what we call the never-ending box. That's the name it's acquired with time, because we found that we just felt like we could put tons of stuff in there, and it felt like it was just never ending with what was in there. So a look at what we've got inside the never-ending box. We've got a lantern. So this is the one that I usually keep up. I hook it up on the tent. So and it has a remote, so that way if we need to get up and use the bathroom in the middle of the night, we can turn that on easily. We've got 2 camping fans. These are incredible, especially for hot summer nights. We used these last night. It is hot right now. The battery on these will last all night, and they're like 2 years old. They're like 30, 35 bucks on Amazon. I would highly recommend. those. I'll link some of this stuff in the description below. Here's the second one. Let's see if I can store all that stuff there. It's become a place where the shoes have been kept. So we got, I think we've got 3 pairs of hiking shoes in there at the moment. And then we've got these tri-fold camp stools. These are incredible. If you don't want to take the time to set up camping chairs that take longer to set up, these set up in 2 seconds. And there's no back or anything, but it's just a little stool. They're like 10 bucks. Love having these things. Sometimes you just need a quick seat, and these are perfect for that. And then the other stuff that's in there, we've got a flashlight, we've got a Stanley thermos. I don't know why, but I keep an extra single burner stove and a pot in there. We never really use it. We use our Coleman stove, which we'll see in a minute on the other side. But I don't know, I've just kept it in there. I guess if I need to take it out and put something else in there, I will. And then there's also a little Tupperware kind of thing full of newspaper for starting campfires. A little cheat there. And then I think the last thing that's in here is our laundry bag. So it's nice to stay organized, especially on longer trips, and keep the dirty clothes somewhere like a laundry bag. Next, we've got this ladder. So this is the ladder for the rooftop tent, and it fits perfectly here. And before I talk more about that, I've got 2 7-gallon water jugs for a total of course, 14 gallons of water. I always carry 14 gallons of water. Do I need that much water? Usually not. But part of the reason that I haven't changed it at all is because it does help keep this ladder in place. The ladder tucks perfectly right next to the water jugs. And then you can see I've got the ladder tied in around with this strap. So perfect spot for the ladder. When I'm setting up the rooftop tent, I can just pop open this part of the truck bed cap and then grab the ladder and easily just hook it on for the rooftop tent. And then, yeah, like I said, next to that is the 14 gallons of water. The only other thing I'm gonna talk about on this side, and this is actually the first trip we're on that I started bringing this, but it is the Bouge RV. It's a heated shower. So you attach a propane tank to it for heat, for warm water, and then it's got a shower head, and I found that it fits perfectly just behind the cooler, just behind this water jug, and in front of the never-ending box. So didn't use it on this trip because well, we ended up finding a lake to jump into, but I think that'll be a good spot for that, and that'll probably be something that we'll carry, especially in the summer when we might need it. All right, I think that's it for this side. So I'm gonna close up this side and we're gonna go over to the passenger side. All right, I already opened it up. So we are on the passenger side of the bed cap. So we'll kind of start towards the very back, or again, front, whatever you wanna call it. But right here, this is a trash box that stays, so it's right next to the never-ending box, right in the middle. We used to just keep a trash bag in here, but if you saw one of my past videos that we've had mice in the truck bed, I did make a video trying to keep mice out of the truck bed, and so far so good, but we don't want to just keep a trash bag in here. So we got this box. It also helps with the smell too. It does help mitigate the smell. So anyways, trash box. I do still want to find a better setup for the trash, because sometimes this can be a pain to get it out to where you need it to put trash in, but it works for now. Trash box. Underneath the trash box is a pack of 10 leveling blocks. And the leveling blocks are pretty much a must, in my opinion, if you're using a rooftop tent or any kind of situation where you're sleeping in your vehicle, because we often find that we're not at a level site, and then those help quite a bit. So we've got the trash box, the leveling blocks, and then next to that, this is where I keep the power station. And it's kind of a little awkward the way we've got it, or at least it looks a little awkward. I've got it sitting on 3 1-inch blocks of wood, or actually it's 2 1-inch blocks of wood, and then this piece of styrofoam. And then I just wanted to raise it up a little bit so all the ports would be easier to access, and it actually stays in place. And part of the reason that it stays in place so well is something I haven't mentioned yet, and that is the T-mat. So if you're not familiar with T-mat, I just got it, and I've got a video on that coming out soon, probably the end of this month, July, most likely. But basically it goes on the entire truck bed. It covers the entire surface. In this case, I do have the deck drawers, which we'll get into in a little bit. So it covers the entire surface of that. And then it's got these blockers that you can stick into place to help keep stuff organized, to help keep stuff from moving around. So that's part of what helps with this power station. But you can see the blocker is just blocking where the wood and the styrofoam is, not even the power station. But even on rough roads, it hasn't moved. So this is the Anker Solix C1000. That's been my go-to power station this year. We mostly just use it for phones, camera gear, charging drones, but sometimes it is needed to plug the powered cooler into it. And then I'll show you here, this right here is where I've got the solar set up. So this I can just plug right into the power station, and then that will charge it if I had it plugged in up top. Okay, next to the power station, this is the snack box. So we love having the snack box. It kind of goes along with the whole theme of when we had the mice in here. We don't want to keep any food or paper products out. So we've got everything in this box that is sealed. So any snacks, toilet paper, paper towels, stuff like that goes in here. And then it's easy access. I can just open it pretty easily and we can access anything in there. So it's a perfect spot for it for us for easy access. And then it doesn't block the power station, so we can still plug stuff in there. So that's pretty good. And then last thing over here, we've got the, oh, I'm gonna stay out of the sun a little bit. We've got just the classic Coleman camp stove. And then you can kind of see that I've got it in place with some of the T-mat blockers. And then the space that's like next to that, where I've got this duffel bag, sometimes we will put a large firewood box if we want to bring some firewood with us. So I was trying to store the Coleman stove upright, but the space between the T-mat blockers isn't quite enough. I'll show that more in the T-mat video. But anyways, this is pretty much always where we keep the stove. That way, again, we can just open this hatch and grab it pretty easily and then either cook on the tailgate or we use the tire table. So I think that is about it for this side. So lastly, I'm going to show you the back. And oh, I called it the back. I guess it is the back. So I'm going to show you the back, and then I'm going to show you the what we've got in the deck drawers. All right, popping open the back. There's not a whole lot of new stuff to show here. It's really just the cooler. So this is possibly my favorite part of the camping setup, at least of stuff that's in here. This is the Anker Solix Everfrost version 2 40-liter cooler. I absolutely love having a powered cooler. I've made some videos on that as well. If you want more details on it, I'll try not to go into too much detail right now. So I did make an initial impression on that, and then towards the end of the camping season for us, the summer, fall, I will make a follow-up. But spoiler alert, I love it. It's so nice not needing ice. I do need to add like a slide that will tilt. So I'll drop down the tailgate. Right now, to lift it out of the truck bed, especially with these deck drawers, it's so heavy. So I need to Leslie and I need to do it together to get it in the truck. I can usually get it out on my own, but if it's full, it's probably close to 100 pounds. So that's something that hopefully you'll see in the 2026 tour. But we've got that, and it fits perfectly right next to the water jugs, but leaves enough space in between. And then you can see we've got the T-mat blocker here, which last weekend I didn't have this blocker here, and I was kind of sloped, and it actually fell out, but the cooler survived. So yeah, having the T-mat blocker just to help prevent that from happening again would be great. And then this is the space here Oh, this is just a towel that's drying. And then this is the space where right now I've got my duffel bag for the trip. But yeah, sometimes we keep a firewood box there. The only other things before the deck drawers I didn't mention, on the roof, or I guess the ceiling, on the ceiling here, I've got some of these Keepa magnets. I've got a bunch of those that I just keep on the ceiling. And they come in handy for example, this towel's hanging on it. It's nice for hanging towels to dry or hanging clothes to dry, stuff like that. There's a lot of uses for it, so I like keeping those in there. And then you can see too that I've got the solar cord here. So this cord is what I would use if I plugged in the solar for the cooler. And then right here, I've got it running all across the top part of the ceiling, and then I can easily just plug it right into the cooler when I need to charge it. Typically we'll do that like if I know the cooler is going to need to be charged and we're going to be hiking. If we're going to do a hike for 5 hours, I'll just park in the sun and plug that in and let it charge while we're hiking. And then the last thing would be these lights. So these lights, I found these at either like Home Goods or TJ Maxx for like 15 bucks. It was a 6-pack, and they're just AAA battery powered, touch on, you just tap them to touch them, turn them on, and they have an adhesive on the back, so they're just stuck to the roof of the truck bed, or the ceiling of the truck bed cap. And yeah, I mean, they work. I wouldn't mind upgrading to a nicer light system maybe in the future. But honestly, for 15 bucks, these have been pretty incredible. They've fallen off a couple times, but you just put a new adhesive on and they stay pretty good. So I've got, I think 1 on each side, 2 over here in the back, and then 1 up here for more exterior lighting. So I think that's it. Oh, one more thing I just thought of. I'm proud of this one, so I gotta show you this here. Right next to the water jug, I've got a little thing of soap. I was proud of rigging that up. Just putting some Velcro, some adhesive Velcro on each side, and then I just put a little thing of soap there, so that way, right next to the water, we can easily wash our hands. And then on the other side over here, I've got hand sanitizer. So that way, if we don't want a full wash of the hands, just quickly clean the hands. But all right, I think we're just gonna end here I'll show you what we got in the deck drawers, and then I'll set up the tent and awning. The left drawer here is mostly miscellaneous camping stuff. It's kind of similar to what's in the never-ending box. Starting with the way back, we've got a trail camera. I keep it in there because sometimes when we're camping, I like to set it up and see if maybe any wildlife or anything passes through our campsite. Nothing yet. But then in front of that, we've got a couple towels. So we usually keep 2 towels and then an extra towel for condensation for the tent. So on those cooler mornings, if the tent gets condensated, we've got a towel that we'll just use to wipe it. Then we've got a hammock. We got some more lights. I've got another little lantern here. I keep a little speaker in here. We've got our real camping chairs. These are the Click camping chairs, best camping chairs I've found. They're a little pricey, but they are worth it. They last and they set up very quickly. We've got bug spray. I've got another light in here. We've got hand warmers, Uno cards. I keep a packable puffer jacket because you never know when you're gonna need that. We've got some headlamps and another light, a lot of lights, lots of lights in here. I think that's about it that's in here right now. The towels aren't in here because we used them yesterday, so they're drying, but that's pretty much kind of what we keep in here. So the right drawer is pretty much dedicated to kitchen stuff. I've got 2 little divider boxes, as you can see in here, and the back one is pretty much dedicated to coffee supplies. So I keep a portable grinder in here. I've got my tin of coffee, and then I've got my pour over stuff. I've got the, you know, the knockoff jet boil thing to boil the water. We've got some mugs. And then I also keep some emergency backpacking meals in here, just in case we ever get stranded. I think I've got 2 backpacking meals that always stay in here. And then I think there's also like a pot to boil some water. Looks like a couple of them. And then I think we've got some tea bags back there. So that's like the coffee and tea station and emergency food. And then in this little bin right here, this is basically all the cooking stuff that we use on a regular basis. So we've got 2 cooking pots, we've got our plates, we've got our cutting board. We keep salt and pepper back here. I don't know if you're supposed to, but we keep a thing of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. It never goes bad. We just keep it in here all summer. Salt and pepper, ketchup, cooking spray, some baggies, some lighters to get the propane stove started, some bowls, some aluminum foil, pretty much anything that we need. And then in the very front section here, we've got, I always keep 2 or 3 propane tanks in here so we always have enough. We've got some koozies, we've got some sporks and forks, some cooking utensils, a scissors, there's a knife in here somewhere, and then a sponge, dish cleaning stuff. And then the last little thing that we incorporate in this drawer as well is our toiletries. So we've got pretty much anything that we would need for toiletries, at least anything I would need. I think Leslie might bring a couple other things that she uses when we pack up. But, well, I guess that's about it. So that is the 2025 Jeep Gladiator camping setup tour. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe it helped you come up with some ideas to think about how you want to pack up your truck, or maybe not, I don't know. I am going to end this video, like I said, by setting up the tent and setting up the awning with the time lapse. And then after I set them up, I will just show you real quick inside the tent as well, not in a time lapse, in regular speed. So stay tuned for that, and then we'll end the video. Like I said, super fast to set up the tent and the awning. Both together took me like 2 minutes. So that's pretty good. But yeah, let me just show you real quick inside the tent, show you all that bedding we keep in there. That's pretty much it. I don't think I missed anything. I hope you enjoyed this video, or at least found it helpful. If you're interested in any of the items that I mentioned that we use, I'm gonna put links in the description below. If you did find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. It means more to me than you know. And hit that like button. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.